So, all right, good. Thank you for remembering to record us for the folks who aren't here. So I would love to invite some volunteers to read us some pairs of mission and vision statements. I love putting these side by side because then you can really start to see what the relationship is between them and how they serve different purposes and what those purposes are. So I would take a volunteer. Allison, I'm just going to start with you and try to share a mission and vision statement. All right, here's a mission. Allison, can you read that to us?
Of course, I'm happy to promote health and quality of life by preventing and controlling disease, injury, and disability.
And here is their accompanying vision.
Healthy people in a healthy world.
All right, anyone want to venture a guess as to what organization this is? Feel free to unmute yourself and just shout it out. No guesses.
To promote health and quality of life by preventing healthy people in a healthy world and controlling disease, injury, and disability.
Great. Can you guess what organization this is that has this mission and vision?
Maybe a health organization,
Yeah,
like a medical or nursing
Close.
agency, maybe.
very, very close. It's the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. All right, so let's go on to another example. This is an organization called WEPAN, Women in Engineering Proactive Network. Who'd like to read this one? All right, I have a volunteer, Trish. Just need to unmute.
To propel higher education to increase the number and advance the prominence of diverse communities of women in engineering.
All right, and for the shortest vision statement ever, what's their vision statement?
50-50 by 2050.
Yeah, all right. Need another volunteer for one more. I might call on someone. Oh, Lydia, excellent. Lydia, you go ahead.
To assist those struggling with food insecurity to obtain essential life needs.
And the vision? Lydia?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'd unmute again. A region free of food insecurity.
All right. And I'll do the last one. To rally our diverse city to embrace and champion its historic places and spaces. All New Haveners will treat their historic places and spaces as irreplaceable assets. So I would love to learn from you all what you see as characteristics of mission versus vision. What do you see as characteristics and any differences between them?
I think the mission statement is more of a prolonged version of what your statement is. It just kind of gives more of a broad perspective of, of what what you want to do. And the statement is more like a short, straight up version of what you have to say, of
Interesting.
who you are.
Yeah, of who you are. I love that. So, I'm going to come back to this in a second, but one thing that you picked up was
Action.
the mission is an action. It's about something that the organization does. Excellent. What else are people noticing?
The vision is the goal and the mission is what you do to try to attain that goal.
Fantastic. Yes. Is your organization in complete control of achieving that goal, that vision? Can you do that all by yourself?
No.
It's going to take a lot of organizations and a lot of different kinds of work to achieve healthy people in a healthy world, or women 50% of engineers by 2050, right? So let's take a look at what I see as the characteristics and similarities and differences. So number one, they're both short, right? They need to be short enough that your board members will memorize them and be able to say them. Another one is verby. I made up 2 vocabulary words for you, verby versus nouny. So if we go back to these, I think it was Lydia's point, that the mission statements start with verbs: to promote, to propel, to assist, to rally. And the vision statements are very nouny. They're about a future state, as Cami put it, what you're going to contribute to. So the next one is internal facing or external facing. Now, some organizations write a vision like, we're going to be the model of this, or we're going to be the best, we're going to be the number one, we're going to be the leaders. That to me is not as inspiring as one of those externally facing vision statements. Does anyone want to comment on why I might say that an externally facing one, the change that you're going to make in the world, is more inspiring than we're going to be the best?
The external one really invites identification by the person you're talking to.
I love the way you put that. Yeah, that really expresses it. If you're talking to someone outside the organization, maybe even for the first time, do they really care that you're going to be the number one at something? Do they care about they're going to be healthy people in a healthy world? So it's about being inspirational for them and also for yourselves. The mission, though, is very internally focused because it is about what you do. It describes what you do as an organization. And finally, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but none of those examples included the how. They really were about the what. So here I'm going to give you the formula for a mission statement. What you do, for whom, with what benefit. And so I broke down a few mission statements for you, just to show you that you don't have to say exactly those things. Sometimes they're implied, but I color coded these. So the what you do is the verbs. So this organization develops, sustains, and advocates. This one assists people in obtaining something. This one builds, promotes, and supports. And this is the fourth one, supports and empowers. And so, for example, in the first one, to develop, sustain, and advocate for affordable housing in our town, looks to me like the benefit is that housing is affordable. And the whom is sort of implied in the our town, and also Jackie, and is also implied in affordable housing, people who need affordable housing. So sometimes, like I said, these pieces of the formula are stated overtly, and sometimes they're implied. So the bottom one, I think, is a great example of lays it all out in words. To support and empower is what they do. For women in all families is for whom. And the benefit is they're helped during challenging times. So there's a formula for you. And what I would like to do now is send you off with either your current mission statement or your potential mission statement to just spend a little time drafting, working on your draft. And here's a crib sheet for you of some verbs. So oftentimes mission statements rely on a very small standard set of verbs like support, empower, enable, ensure. So I pulled out a few maybe more unique individualistic kinds of verbs. So I'm going to give you all 3 minutes to just think on your own mission statement and to work on your own. And you might even want to do this in 3 columns. Just create a column that's what you do, a second column that describes the whom at the level of detail that you need. Maybe it's kindergarten pupils, maybe it's older people. And then finally, what the benefit is. And that, just spend 3 minutes making those 3 columns. So if you've got something in the 3 columns, if you have a mission statement already, I would love for you to mark it out for yourself, make sure it's got those 3 elements in it. And if you don't have a mission statement yet, or if you think it needs freshening up, take a try at writing that short sentence, that short statement of what you do for whom, with what benefit. All right, who are the brave and generous souls who'd like to share a mission statement? Trish, I'm going to try calling on someone else first.
Tia.
Try.
All right.
This is
And
Alicia,
yes,
what's your organization?
Sankofa Learning Center.
Okay.
And
wanna-
what, yep, I'm going to do it by the columns. What we do is inspire and reimagine early childhood education for African American children. And
Uh-huh.
from whom is for the ages group of 3 to 6 years old. And the
Uh-huh.
benefits is to honor the rich heritage of African American ancestors.
Fabulous. Alicia, bravo.
Thank you.
Excellent. Did you have that when you came in, or did you just draft it?
I just drafted it because our mission statement was extremely lengthy. So this helped immensely.
Oh my gosh, that's great. All right. Who else would like to share?
I'll share. This is Elsie.
Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
And I'm flattered, since I'm here representing the New Haven Preservation Trust, that you included our mission statement in one of your examples.
You did great.
And our current mission statement, which we're very pleased with, is what we do is to rally, and for whom, our diverse city, and with what benefit, to embrace and champion its historic places and spaces.
Yeah. You all should be very proud of that. You did a great job on it.
Thank you, with your help.
I'm like the midwife. You all do the work. You do the labor.
Thank you.
Shall we have one more?
I'd be happy to go.
All right, Shannon, what's your organization?
Our organization is Guilford Community Television.
Mhm.
And what we do is we gather and spotlight news stories in rich local color. And we do it for the Guilford community. And we do it so that way we can build a more inclusive, informed, and engaged community.
These are fantastic. Shannon, did you have that before you came in?
I had it in pieces, kind of spread out. Like, it was, our actual mission was gather and spotlights stories, news, and rich local color of the Guilford community. And then down in vision was partially to build and inform a more inclusive, engaged community. And then after listening to the presentation, it occurred to me that that really needs to come together and be the vision statement. Be the mission
The
statement.
mission. That's so interesting. So, so we are going to move to vision, and let's see what happens, Shannon, because you might actually change your mind back again. I am not sure. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So, moving on to vision, much less formulaic. So I've posted a bunch of examples here for you, but the real concept, the basic concept, is how the world of the future, however you define that world, will be different, in part because of your contribution to it. So the vision statement isn't your vision of the difference that you alone will make. To me, the most inspiring vision statements are the ones that you become part of, that you are contributing to. And these are just some that I really love. Some of them I've helped and some of them I haven't. So down at the bottom, the shortest one, 50/50 by 2050. On the bottom left, I happen to be on the board of Long Wharf Theater, and our vision statement, again, is a really short one. It's theater for everyone. But some others still short. A society that values older adults and people with disabilities. That one happens to be from Mary Wade Home. A well-nourished community is from A Soup Kitchen. A region free of food insecurity is a food pantry. An equitable built environment that helps to heal people, communities, and I can't read this because my screen is covered, and planet. That is from an organization, an association of people who are interested in green building. So I'm going to let you loose again on working on your vision statement, keeping in mind you want it to be short, you want it to be external facing, and something that you contribute to, but is not entirely within your control. So how about another 3 or 4 minutes to jot down some notes on that, and we'll come back together. All right. So we're going to do something a little bit different this time. And thanks, Trish. See you later. We're going to send you all into breakout rooms, and you'll just be a little group of 3. We'll invite each of you to share. First of all, say what your organization is, who you are, and then share your pairing of your vision and your mission statement, whichever, whatever state they're in, and invite each person in the group to comment on it. You could consider, is it super clear? Is the mission statement focused enough? And are you inspired by it? So Allison is going to send you all out into 3-person breakout rooms. You'll have about 6 minutes. So you each have 2 minutes per person. And then we'll come back and we'll move on to elevator pitches. Hey, everybody. I love this moment when everyone's coming back from the breakout rooms. It reminds me of all the kids running off the school bus to go to school. It's like this burst of people energy. It's so great. So I hope that you got some good feedback, some useful ideas from your conversations. And as promised, we're going to move into the third part of the trio, the elevator pitch. So here's a formula that I'd like to give you that, of course, you know that an elevator pitch is called that because it's supposed to take the amount of time that it takes to get from the top floor to the bottom floor of whatever building. So, oh, Alicia, you needed more time. Thank you for that. We'll touch base on that before we leave today. So what I'd like to propose is that for your elevator pitch, this is where you get to talk about the hows. I know that a lot of times it's very tempting to put the list of how you do your mission into your mission statement. Here's your big moment. What are the 3 big activities that your organization engages in that you want to tell someone about? What's one big result or one data point that you have that's really compelling? And have in your hip pocket a personal story. It's either personal from your own experience with the organization or its mission, or a story of a success story from the organization. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to talk you through a conversation. So your friend says, hey, how are you doing? What are you up to these days? And you say, I'm on the board of the Reading Tree. And your friend says, oh yeah, what's that? And you say, well, it's a nonprofit organization, and we excite and equip children with the fun and the power of reading. And by the way, you all recognize that that's the mission statement, I'm sure. So your friend says, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. What do you do? How do you do that? And you say, well, we do a couple of things. We train after-school tutors with proven methods for teaching reading. We make sure that every child has a library card and some books of their own. And we have created a reading component for day camp so that kids don't lose ground during the summer. And your friend says, wow, that's amazing. And you say, well, I want to tell you, we have really proven results. We have found that our kids start an average of 2 years behind grade level in reading. And after just 1 year with the Reading Tree, they are reading at grade level. And you know what's really amazing about it to me is that over the long run, we see ourselves contributing to communities of open-minded thinkers and readers and learners. So there you go. There was the elevator pitch. And you might be reading your audience, if this is someone who's not going to be as interested in hearing the list of what you do or the big data point, you might start with your personal story. So again, I'm going to invite you to spend a few minutes just making some notes to yourself on, for instance, what those three major hows are. What are the big hows? Or what is one really compelling data point that you have that proves the achievements of your organization? So off you go back in your individual note taking, and then we'll come back and we'll pull it all together. All right, I'm going to take down the screen and I would like to invite a couple of brave souls to share your whole elevator pitch. So it would start with, hey, what have you been doing lately? And you're going to share about your organization's mission, and then major activities, and then a data point, and the vision you hope to accomplish. So who's up? And if truly no one wants to do this, we can move forward to Q&A, or you can run a part of it, your mission, your vision, or your elevator pitch past the group, whatever y'all would like to do.
Let's move to Q&A, please.
Let's do it. Who's got a question?
I try not to go first so everybody can get a chance to talk, but I want you to understand how important the work that you're doing today. I've been to a lot of grant writing workshops and I've attended a lot of things on a national level, but when you're working in a local level, it's totally different. You really have to know your audience. And this has been tremendously helpful. Even in the little brief time we had together in the breakout room, I realized that these lengthy mission and vision statements do not work. And the reason why they do not work is because the board doesn't understand how important it is to have this elevator pitch. And whenever the board meets, they're like trying to grapple and put their head around it. And I'm like, what is your problem? You know, you should be pitching this everywhere you go. And it just makes it so much harder for the nonprofits to do their work, which is hands-on, when the board isn't advertising. So my question is simply, how do we get the board on board?
Oh, I love it. Well, you're going to have the recording of this workshop. So you could just run this workshop with your entire board. I also want to tell you that the Community Foundation has made the generous offer of getting a half hour of my time with you and anyone else that you want to bring into a Zoom meeting with me to go over your drafts and really polish them up. So Alicia, thank you so much for those kind words. And I'm glad that this has been helpful to you. And we want to make sure that it is very helpful to all of your boards as well. So Allison, I think our hope is that we will get 30 organizations to sign up for a half hour with me, and I will help you polish. So Allison's going to send out that information after the meeting where you can sign up.
That's
Lisa.
right. Yeah.
Go ahead. Allison, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will send out a registration link afterward later this week, and you'll be able to register for a time slot with Nancy. And yes, Lisa has her hand up.
I do too.
Yes, thank you. So my question was about the storyline.
Uh-huh.
Does it have to be positive? I mean, could you tell a story about something that happened in the community? Like, say, if there was an overdose near a youth serving organization, and that's what's empowering you to do what you're doing?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you need to read your audience. You know, the person you talk to may be a more data-driven person. If it's someone you know, you can just judge what will hit home the best. But absolutely, you know, people are moved by tragedy, of course. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And Carol.
Hi, I'm on the board at the Mercy by the Sea Retreat Center in Madison. So being a retreat center, we don't exactly have a lot of data points, like spiritual growth is our goal. So are you more, so because there's not really a data point, most people are going to go home and say they did have spiritual things happening, but is it better than to have a story of sort of how you got involved, or what brings you there to that place?
I think every board member and every staff member should have that story in their hip pocket, and know when to bring it out. And then regarding Mercy Center, I'm sure that you have some testimonials that that you could bring out
Sorry.
as stories. So that, that might be a resource. Many of your organizations will have testimonials from former clients and so on, that that would be success stories or inspiration stories.
Okay.
But yes, I'm glad you raised the question about, can you tell your own story? Of course, this is why it's so important to me to be part of your organization. These are great questions. Any others? Who else? Thank you, Crystal. Ken.
Sorry there. I wasn't mute. I muted myself. Anyway, I got a vision statement that's like about 80 words long.
Okay, we'll shorten it.
Yeah, that the board put together. I was thinking something really short, like 8 to 10 words. How do you get a board to agree, besides showing them this this webinar?
Ask them to memorize it. Ask them to memorize it, Ken.
There you go. Yeah. Memorize an 80-word vision statement.
Exactly. Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
Right. I think imparting the value of the vision statement and how valuable it is to be able to say it. I mean, I think that's enough incentive. Does anyone else have some idea here about how to convince a board to shorten it from 80 to 10?
Make sure the board is volunteering somewhere in the organization and they know the day-to-day operation.
Nice. Yeah.
I would suggest signing up for the 30 minutes with Nancy Alexander. And if you can't get your whole board to participate, see if you can enlist a couple of key people so that they can kind of get religion about how important a short, pithy mission statement is. I'm going to try that approach.
I love it. Okay.
I came in with a mission statement that is 1, 2, 3, 6 or 7 typed lines. It's a paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And don't lose those words, because they'll come in handy somewhere, like in thank you letters and in annual reports and so on. But for grant applications and for talking to a board recruit prospect and a prospective donor and so on, simple. Keep it simple.
Thank you very much.
You can also have an internal and external. So if you convince the board that your external vision statement needs to be short and pithy, then you can come up with just that little bit. And then if they really want to hold on to the rest of it, they can hold on to it for internal documents and their internal purposes.
Great point. Thank you, Jackie. I'm glad you were here. I didn't see you because I wanted to ask you your advice too on that. How do you convince the board question?
Yeah.
I think,
well, the workshop that I do, and if you want to talk about that, offer that to folks. The cone of silence piece I do.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when I do a workshop called Practices and Best Practices, and we start because the major fundraising piece of your team is your mission. So, and your elevator pitch, we want everybody to be on the same page. So when we do this, we usually do it with a group of board members and staff members. And the first thing I asked everyone to do at their table is to write their own elevator speech without conversation in the cone of silence. Write your own elevator speech. Once you've written it down, then go back and underline the key words and phrases that you think are really important. Again, in the cone of silence, not talking. And then the next step is to go around the table. And everyone, without conversation, without reaction, without conversation, everyone reads their statements as they have them written. And as you're listening, you listen like, oh, I forgot that. That would have been good in mine. Oh, I like that. I like the way he put that. I like the way they put that. So you pull out little phrases. And then once you've done that, then together collectively, you can say, well, let's take Lisa's piece of this and Mark's piece of that and Carol's piece of that, and let's put this together. And then together they can decide on one.
And while you're doing that, make sure that you don't add all the pieces, because then it'll turn into the 80 word. You're really looking for those themes. Jackie, that was brilliant. Thank you. I think we have time for one more question from Shannon.
Sorry, I had to unmute. So our vision statement currently is the digital center of the Guilford universe. And I understand that that sounds more inward facing, and our intent was that what we want to create for the community is basically the place that they can go to get all things Guilford, all information Guilford, because there is no real place to do that. There's like one paper, and you know, and local news does its best to do some stories, but we're the only place that you can go to get gavel to gavel coverage of town meetings and learn about Rotary Lobster Fest and all that sort of stuff. So
that's great. So it sounds like your vision is super well-informed Guilford residents.
Okay. Okay.
And how you do it is you provide that digital site, that one-stop shop for
Right.
digital information.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'm thinking that example might have helped some other folks here too. So thank you for that.
Yep.
That was a great way to close.
I was just going to say, you're so good, Nancy. We get to see you in action.
So thank you all for being here. I have one more slide to share with you if you all can stay for 1 second. And that is you can do it. Thank you, everyone. I really look forward to our sessions together. Please sign up. The only requirement is that you have a draft written before you sign up, and you'll be asked to post it in the registration form. Jackie, thank you. Allison, thank you for taking good care of us today. Thank you both for arranging this. And thank you everyone for being interested and eager and having such great ideas and such great questions. You really made it a fun hour.
Yes, thank you all. And thank you especially, Nancy, for your wisdom on
Thank you,
this.
Nancy.
You are very welcome.
We hope to see everyone on Wednesday for outcomes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
bye
you.
all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.